Hey guys, welcome to another news breakdown here on Soda Pop. Alright, as always, I'm your host, Frozen Stratos, and today we're going to be taking a look at pretty much D-Man's masterpiece. Now, if you don't know, he's the dude that works on shodo-x and Chronicle, and this is like the biggest thing he's done yet. So without further ado, let's jump into everything that came out of the Kamen Rider Candy Toy News blog this week, and it is church. Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll just break down these images I got here, and we'll see what happens. So first up, we have this look at a flat door, but it is printed well enough, so walking right on through, we get to see the beautiful looking church. It is weathered to perfection. I don't know, this thing looks really nice. And we get to take a closer look at all the sort of windows, the transparent areas, and it has a transparency to it, so it does allow for some light to come through, and it looks really nice. Backlighting this thing is mind-blowing. And then we also get a look at the tiny little pews that line the building. These look wonderful, though they don't look the most comfortable. I can confidently say that because it looks like someone took a hammer to it and destroyed them out of, sheer rage. But hey, that's neither here nor there. The bottom of the floor, we get to see this very nice tile pattern. And I love the look of this marble. I don't know what else to tell you. It just looks awesome. And then, yeah, the last image we got is this sort of outside shot. Gives you a look at everything, and there are tiny little steps that lead up to the church, so that's really nice. But that's not what you're here for, is it? You're here for something, maybe a little bit more red and black. Something that looks a bit like leather/spandex. Someone who knows the importance of lower back support. That's right, it's Kamen Rider Kuuga, here to destroy the church pew. I have not watched a single episode of Kuuga, but from all the images that they've given us, it does just look like he's hating on a bunch of church pews, and I guess that's fine with me. And hey, this dude looks beautiful. This is D-Man's masterpiece. This is something he's been working on for the 20th anniversary of Kuuga. And let's just take a look at everything we got from him. So first off, he wanted to show off the posing hands. And these are very well detailed. It reminds me of last week when we got those side-by-sides with Stronger and the Stronger from Shoto Versus. And the detail in those hands, so that is wonderfully done, wonderfully rendered here. It goes well with his kicky boots, because he does have those foot treads on him, and what is a Kuuga without the thumbs up? This has his seal of approval, and you know what else does? The box. So this is our first look at sort of the new logo, I guess. I guess we've sort of seen this before, but the Soto in English is front and center just because in order to unify the line, they just went with English, because every time they spelled it out in Japanese, it would mean something different, like the characters they used to spell the word Soto would mean something different. So they're unifying the whole line under one English title, Soto. So that's really nice to see here. The next thing they really wanted to talk about was the paint, and this thing is fully painted. Even the back gets a ton of paint, and we'll see that I believe this thing is molded in black. Like all that red back there, that has to be paint. And we can use a few visual clues from other images, like this one here. In that kicking pose, we see that there is a spot that they clip off, and there is some black underneath. Now, it does make me notice that, hey, maybe there are some molding issues, like once they cut it off the sprue. I hope it doesn't look that egregious, but these are pre-production images, so this might not be too indicative. I really hope that gets sorted out, or is, just not as bad as it looks here. Another thing to note is the detailing on the collar. All of the, I believe it's Grongi lettering, is picked out here. And after playing around with my, Kamen Rider Gaim figures, I got a, what's his name? Zangetsu, and he has like this sort of faux etched pattern that's not, it reminds me of a composition notebook. It wasn't quite as precise as the actual suit, but to go from that, like 7 years ago to this now, is a pretty big leap. That's incredible. This looks amazing. And then also for the head, we have the eyes. They did it with their classic Bandai, I guess, sensibilities. They put down a layer of silver for the eyes and then a coat of red paint to give it the compound eye look. And for the crest, that's actually molded in gold and then painted over. And this is PVC, so it had to be painted. Or, I guess, didn't have to be painted, but they painted it anyway, and it looks phenomenal. This looks beautiful. Another thing they wanted to talk about was that this is like the most paint that they've ever put on a Soto figure. This is a side-by-side with him painted and unpainted. And just to note again about the pre-production nature of this guy, if you look at the arms, the one on the right has a mold flash like sort of clip at the bottom, like closer to the wrist on the forearm, and at the top of the forearm in the picture on the left. So just keep in mind, pre-production, this might not be indicative. I hope those are sort of smoothed out later, but these don't look too bad. Either way, let's take a look at the stickers since we were talking about them. The Arkle sticker does not look fantastic, neither do like on the first sheet, number 4. Those don't look too great either, but you know what? That's fine. You got like look at this. You've got tons of paint here. They really went all out. They painted over black plastic. That I'm sure that took up a lot of paint budget. Another thing to note, do you see the number 2 and number 3 of sticker sheet 2? Those are supposed to go underneath the sort of abdomen area, and if you look up here in this image, you'll notice that it is actually painted red already. So this is something I didn't know, but it is actually supposed to be a different shade of red. That's why they included that sticker. They didn't explicitly say that in the blog, but after looking at a bunch of images, that's why that's there. I figured if I didn't know, there might be some people out there who didn't, so I, just wanted to inform you guys about that one. Anyway, yeah, that's a closer look at the chest to see. Yeah, they didn't quite paint match it, and usually they're good at matching paint to sticker, but in this case, they are supposed to be different. Next up, we get a look at the hands and feet. The hands take up a lot of the stickers, which, I'm a little wary of just because those are things that you move around a lot, but only time will tell. I hope that these are, very well sticking stickers. But yeah, anyways, there are 3 other things that the blog wanted to point out about this guy, and it's very much like core changes to the Soto body. So first up is a, extended range of motion in the head. What we've seen earlier is that there's a ball joint at the base of the neck and at the top of the neck in order to get that motion. There was a reason for them to have done this, but they said they are going to be letting us know about why when they talk about a different character, or a different suit, rather. So we'll just have to wait and see for that. Next up, we get an image of the thighs. So this has been completely redone as well. These are more similar to the Den-O thighs and more or less the 01 thighs, but they slimmed down the that thigh joint in order to inset it a little more, just to make the thighs a lot more uniform and make the sculpt break up a lot less. So it works. It absolutely works. This looks wonderful. Another thing to the hips they did, though, is that they implemented that sort of drop crotch system that they have for Shoto, and it basically gives you more range of motion. You can pull the legs down and then swing them up. So that's really neat. And if you'll notice, those two changes... Oh, also, they're good for kicks. The range of motion is good for kicks. Sorry. Anyway, these changes really sort of reflect a lot of the changes that were made in shodo-x. And like I said at the top of this, the guy that works on shodo-x and Soto are working on the same thing. Shodo-x and Soto Chronicle, that guy is the same. Like, he's working on all the same stuff. So, it's really interesting to see his, like, his sensibilities through two different lines, you know, and working on, like, the same issue but implementing them differently. And just the difference here in shodo-x is that they did the drop crotches just so they could sit on the bike better. But here it's for kicks because there are no bikes. And in the head, you know, there's only one ball joint there. They just had to sort of widen that area. But at least for Chronicle, we're getting two separate ball joints. So that's really neat. This is some cool stuff. Next up, they let us know that, hey, these are the two retail ones, but they've got another surprise for us because there's going to be a third set. This is the golden set, the premium Bandai Kamen Rider Chronicle Kuuga set, and this is going to come with all of the rising versions of everything. So the first one they showed off is the Rising Titan, and he does come with two swords. Again, haven't watched Kuuga. I don't know the significance of it. I'm just guessing he owns two swords. Next up, we have Pegasus, and it does look like he has the drawn back and the launched version of his weapon. So I can't quite tell if it is a swappable part or not, but if the initial retail release is anything to go by, it is going to be two separate ones, but only time will tell, and whenever they decide to break this down. Next up, we have Dragon form, and he has the, you know, the standard long rod thing that he fights with, but something is troubling. If I move this image a little further, you can see that it's hard to tell, but at every angle you can see the blue on the rod. It does look like a sticker, and I am worried about that. It could be paint, don't get me wrong, but they aren't above making that a sticker, like a place that is going to be, you know, clipped on and clipped off a lot, because they did it with rod form on Den-O. So I am worried that this might be a sticker and he's putting his hand over a sticker and you're gonna have to, like, take it on and off. That might not be too good, but what is good is oops, sorry, Kuuga. We've got Rising Mighty here, and he looks wonderful. All of this stuff, almost all the gold, they said, is picked out in paint. Here's pretty much the breakdown of Kuuga, and there are even parts here that in the regular release weren't painted. Say the you know, the bottom of that chest there, that's all picked out in gold. This looks wonderful, very well detailed, and those tiny rings around the forearm are really doing it for me. That looks wonderful. But yeah, anyways, guys, that's it for Kamen Rider Kuuga. We got a brand new release. The pre-orders went up already in Japan, I believe. They go up April 20th in Japan at 1 p.m. their time. So convert that to wherever you are, and that's when it releases on Premium Bandai. So get your pre-orders in, contact your middleman services, or anyone who can order it for you if you want to get one of these. I believe it was like, let me check again, 59, oh wow. Yeah, 5,900 yen, but 6,490 yen with tax. All included, so that's about $65 right there. But it is 4 figures. It's a really nice set. I don't know. This looks wonderful. And if you guys want it, go ahead and pre-order them. But yeah, anyways, that's it for the update this week. I hope you liked this episode. Also, I don't have another topic for you that we're going to be discussing in the next episode of the Soda Pop podcast because I haven't come up with it yet. So make sure to head on into the Discord and go into the podcast topic channel if you want to figure out what we're going to be talking about for the next episode. The most recent one for this week should be going up soon, sometime this week. And yeah, that's about it. So guys, thanks for watching. Keep it juicy.